Okay, welcome to today's Smarter SMSF update, our quarterly webinar where we share with you what has been happening across the Smarter SMSF business and the projects that we work on across both our document platform, but also in respect to our education. This session, of course, allows us to show you not only by slides what we've got here today, but naturally we'll jump into the platform and share with you some of the great work that the team has been working on over the last quarter as well. So what we're going to cover today, we'll kick it off with our platform enhancements. One of the key things that our team have been working on and continue to work on is our updated platform. We call it our Docs 2.0 platform. So we'll share with you what has been updated on that side of things. We'll also give you a bit of a status report on a number of the features that we've had requests from members in respect to the features that they want to see and where we're at with many of those things. We're then going to share with you some of the work that we've been doing in the AI side of things, both in the context of our platform when you're looking at documents, and we'll show you how that works, but also when it comes to the education, and in particular with our course content, really providing another avenue for students to be able to learn and understand more about the training and education that they're undertaking. We'll then share with you a little bit about our automated deed update service. We are 90% probably there now, and at the point where we are looking to move that into a beta environment with a number of our clients. And the last thing from an enhancements point of view is the introduction of our enduring powers of attorney that we have as an integration feature with Inherit Australia. For those that don't know, Inherit Australia is a platform built by Chris Hill, who's the lawyer, so that works with us on the Smarter SMSF documents at Hill Legal. So I'll share with you how that works as well. We'll then go in and look at and provide an update on a couple of new documents and updates that we're doing. We'll spend a quick amount of time on our Smarter Legal Review that we also now have available. We're seeing a number of our members already utilizing this service. So for those of you that maybe missed our recent webinar on the Smarter Legal Review, we'll explain how that works and integrates into the platform as part of that process. And we'll wrap it up with our CPD and education update. Again, some enhancements, our Smarter AI, and the rollout of what is going to be our new technical support service as well. So let's get stuck into things. And here, in respect to our document platform, a lot of what I wanted to really talk to you about today is to say that our document platform, we have moved from, in essence, what was a closed beta environment into open beta for all users. Okay, so I'll show you how you can access that in a second. But the most important features that I guess we've taken feedback from our existing platform is that we have our integration sitting within each and every form. So you'll be able to connect to whether it's BGL, Class, or Supermate from within that form rather than having to go to a different section as well. And as part of this process, we're not only looking at and migrating forms across, but where the opportunity presents, we will replace a particular form if we deem that to be warranted. And a good example of that has been our trust deed upgrade form. You'll see shortly, we're also doing it with a couple of our other forms, such as adding and removing members. We're going to be splitting those out. And we have a number of new forms that, again, support the different services that we have introduced, such as with the Smarter Legal Review, where we now have our Deed of Rectification as well. It is also about providing additional features. So this new platform has some additional functionality that you can see there around importing data to populate forms, whether it's to set up a new fund or a company, or we're looking at adding in now the ability to do things like deed upgrades, so a bulk deed upgrade process, and then you can overlay that with Smarter Legal Review as an example. And then the more document forms that we have on here, the more that we can build these automated workflows that enable us to pass data from one form to another to create a process in essence. Now, whether that's setting up a brand new SMSF where the company, moves to the fund, moves to the ABN, might move to the investment strategy. But we also do that for a range of other documents and potentially looking at letting you choose your own adventure in that regard as well. But this is all about functionality, ultimately recognizing the age of our existing platform. We want to improve site speed, functionality. There's no real change to the process that you ordinarily do on the platform. As I said, we have enhancements, both in the forms that we use, the integrations, and the information there. So I do encourage you to, if you're not already using it, for certain documents, naturally not all documents are available as yet, but you will now see on the site, there is a leaderboard at the top that will, in essence, single sign you on across to that platform. And if you have and use many of the, what I call the Pareto documents, so the 80-20 rule, where 80% of our orders are completed by about 20% of the forms that we have online, go in, have a look, and then utilize those forms. If not, you can go back to our existing platform as well. So you'll see as we jump in a second here, there is a far more powerful search functionality. It's all about size and speed to be able to do things. There's more functionality in our saved orders, more functionality in our completed orders. Again, about search and the things that you can do, which you can see on the right-hand side here as well in terms of that functionality and just being able to distill stuff when you get into that actions tab by the software integration or by the document flow that we may have built there as well for that particular one. So I'm going to jump across here to the platform just to show you a couple of things that just highlight the way in which this works. So you'll see here now on the screen, what we've done is we've just put this big leaderboard at the top here. So you can click on this, but equally you can see this create new beta that sits on the left-hand side here as well. So all you need to do is click on it. And as I said, it will single sign you across to the new Smarter SMSF platform. I've opened one there, but I'll just go back into this one here. And you'll see the documents that we have available in here already for you. Now, a couple of things just to note here. Where you see these little references on the right-hand side, it means it's a feature that we have either added in or it's part of a different solution or service that we have integrated with. So the ones with the CSV import, you can utilize that CSV service, so the ability to import the data from a different file. So you may be using Xplan or a financial planning software, or a Xero XPM software or something, and you've got data already, and you can then go and import that into specific forms to enable you to, rather than rekeying, allowing you to import that in a much simplified way. So this is where we're going to be doing this with trust deed upgrades as well. As you do the mapping for the first time, you can start to create those templates as part of this process as well. So there are a number of things that you can do here. And again, we'll be providing some more information around the CSV function as we look to expand that further. But just wanted to share a little bit of information on how that CSV process potentially works there and how it connects back to the order here too. So if we go down to our deed upgrade as an example, one of the things that I mentioned up front is that we do also now have our integrations embedded within the one area. Okay, so you have the opportunity now to connect to your SMSF software straight from within the platform, rather than within the form, I should say, rather than having to go to a different area to actually undertake that task. So I'm not going to go through the actual detail of this, but you can see here it's quite simple to be able to then connect that process, choose the login credentials for you, choose the business or whatever it is that you need to do, and away you go, and it will naturally go and populate that form. This is one form, our deed upgrade, that we have as markedly different to the form that we have on our existing platform. Why? This form naturally captures a couple of really important things. One is that it covers things like QRops. So if you do a deed upgrade with QRops, we have just recently incorporated a QRops upgrade into this process. So we already had the QRops deed itself, but we also have in here the ability to add additional parties to that process. So you may have a founder, principal employer, someone else that needs to be a party to that particular deed. And therefore, that functionality has been built into here where it wasn't existing previously. And I'll come back to the Smarter Legal Review stuff shortly. So that just gives you some insight that you can see into here. What I'll also do is just share with you the workflow section as well, because you do have, again, the functionality here, as I touched on, to create a particular workflow based upon the documents that we have. And then once you have that particular workflow, it in essence allows you to go and complete that particular order. It will then pass that data from the next order form to the next order form to the next order form, and then save you naturally a significant amount of time in that particular process too. So again, we'll be providing more detail on that as we kind of work through with a select number of clients, the different features that we have available and the order forms that we can bring together to help fast track that ordering process. So I'm just going to duck back again to our slides here. So from a timing point of view, we do have are working through a number of stages with this documents platform. So we have gone through stage 1, and stage 2 now is where we've gone from a closed beta environment now to an open beta environment. We are now adding in a range of documents, so what I'd call our next round or next level of documents that don't get used as much as the first set, but then get used the next sort of level of importance or volume, probably more to the point. So again, the more that we can utilize this sort of stuff and get the feedback, the quicker we are going to naturally be able to move into stage 3 and then ultimately stage 4 as well. So this is a bit of a rolling guideline, but hence why we've naturally moved to open and wanted to make it abundantly clear that that was available to people. The shift from stage 2 to stage 3 is when we start to turn forms off. So at the moment, we have a pension commencement form that sits on the old platform and then also the new platform. The older version of our pension commencement, we actually haven't made upgrades to, but one of the things that we had, given the different the improvements that were made to our new form, is that we needed to remove death benefit pensions from it. So once we've finalized that death benefit income stream, which I'm going to talk to a little bit more shortly, we will then literally decommission the old form and then do a complete redirection from the existing site onto the new site, so that you're only ever ordering from that new platform as well. So it is a fairly lengthy process. It's quite a big job naturally for us to be able to work through this, but we will get to the point where we will be decommissioning our existing app for all users, and then you'll be going across to what we see as our docs.smarter.smsf. So if I just go back to the platform again, you'll see in here, it's docs.smartersmsf.com. So this is going to be the document ordering platform, just like we have on our education platform. You can see learn.smarter. We have our deed.smarter for our automated deed update service. All of those I'll talk about a little bit more shortly. And then we have our user console as well, which is our user manager here. And again, it runs stuff about your subscription and the staff that have access to things, et cetera, et cetera. So it is partitioned, and behind this is our API that you'll in essence be able to plug into if you have your own forms as part of the ongoing maybe administration of funds or the way that you deal with other third parties as well. So let's get back to our slides again and keep things moving along. So the other bit here that is worth noting from a features point of view is we are also looking to add an import entry details into a previous order. So what we see is when we set up a new pension, for example, and you might have multiple pensions for clients. So I'm just going to jump into the pension form. Yes, it's great that we can have our integration directly within this screen to enable us to connect, but we might have clients that are setting up multiple pensions, or you've got a history of that client already built into previous orders. So what we're looking to do here is we'll be adding in an ability for you to search and choose from that previous client. So what that will allow you to do is, in essence, choose that, and then it will automatically populate that information without having to, in essence, reconnect each and every time to your SMSF software to do it. So it's just another way in which we can utilize what information we already have for your clients, so that we don't need to go through this process each and every time. This will get to, from our platform point of view, where we will end up having a client list in here at some point. So you'd be able to select the client, and a lot of this information, rather than, again, relying upon the connection each and every time, you would simply be able to go to that client list, and that client list page will enable you to simply refresh that page between your software. So we'll get a syncing happening between the two to make sure that data is current and up to date. So let's again jump back to our slides here. The other part to this is we can see naturally we have our integrations sitting within the Smarter SMSF order forms on our new Docs platform. We are pretty close to finishing our central integrations page. So why is this important? It's important because there are, within the various SMSF softwares, the ability to choose whether it's at a fund level. So you're just pushing data maybe back into your class software at a fund level. Some SMSF administrators, for example, might use different brands. So they're talking to different advisory groups, or you may have different business levels. And again, subject to, with a fund establishment, you want to be able to push that new fund that's been set up back into a particular brand or business level. The ability to establish that within an integrations page is naturally a key part of what needs to occur. So we will be shortly sending this out to different users that we know have requested this feature. And again, when we provide our next update, we'll give you a bit more information around that as well. A couple of things on the Microsoft side. We are working on finalizing our Microsoft OneDrive and SharePoint API integrations. So that is, once you've ordered documents, you'll be able to post those documents into the relevant Microsoft platform there for those completed orders. And in addition to that, we are looking to now add our Microsoft Authenticator to sit alongside our Google Authenticator that we have. Now, that requires some adjustments to our multi-factor authentication. And I know there have been some problems in the last day or so in respect to some of that multi-factor authentication. And we do expect to wrap a lot of this up over the next couple of days that will introduce, like I said, that choice of authenticator, given that I know many firms obviously use the Microsoft suite of products, Teams, SharePoint, whatever the case may be as well. We've touched already on the expanding of the doc flows. We've also touched on the CSV import for bulk updates. And again, those are two things that we'll continue to keep you updated on. And speaking of continue to keep you updated on, is the fact that we will look to continue to expand on the initial AI functionality that we built in when we're ordering documents. And I guess on that topic, let's now move over and have a chat to you about this new AI functionality that we have built. So the first instance here, we are going to show you what we've done in the context of our SMSF documents. Naturally, we have only built this in our new documents platform. We're not going to be rolling this out on our existing app. But the idea here is that you'll be able to, as you're working through an order form, you'll be able to ask questions about the relevant order and document that is going to be generated. So we now have this available within our new SMSF order form, and it allows you to ask questions about the Smarter SMSF Deed and the suite of documents that get generated as part of that fund establishment process, which naturally includes things like QROPs. So if we commonly get, well, what's this form or what's this question mean if you don't have that exposure to UK pension transfers? Well, in essence, you can ask the Smarter AI bot here in respect to that particular decision, and then it will provide you with an answer as well. So we are going to be adding this to what I'd say is our most commonly used documents first. So our pension commencement, investment strategies, our company incorporations, our change of trustees, our RBAs, and so forth. But I think then the real benefit is going to come about once people start to look at and use and understand what we see as more SMSF specific and complex documents. So why a lost pension deed where we affirm and confirm the pension that is on foot and then have a replacement set of rules? Why and when it might be relevant to have a fund guardian and producing that guardianship document, and where a member might die and the steps that need to be included in there as well. So let's again jump across to the platform, and I'm going to show you now what we've done in the context of our new SMSF. So we'll go to our establishment that you can see here, and we'll go in to order now, as I said, and you'll see in the top right-hand corner, we now have our Ask AI button. So this is specific to the particular form page that we have on here. So as you can see in the initial chat, hi, you can ask me a question about the requirements of the Smarter SMSF deed and the documents relating to the fund establishment, including for QROPS purposes. And given that we are in the initial stages of this, we just have referenced the fact that my knowledge is currently limited to the contents of the documents that are being generated here. But if you do have other questions, you can jump into those. So we're going to be training this bot naturally to not only be looking at the specific ones, but then to naturally be looking at across a range of documents. And therefore on the create new page, you'll be able to ask that bot the relevant questions as opposed to the documents that you might need based upon a particular scenario. So I'm just going to go into here and say, can you explain to me what QROPS is? Okay, so we're not sure what that particular issue is. And then it's going to be going into the document. It's going to be going into the PDS. It's going to be going into whatever other information we have included within this to explain the relevant process and the conditions and restrictions around that. Another common feature that we have within our deed is around special rules. So the fact that a pension commencement can become a special rule of the fund. So can you explain what a special rule of the fund is? And again, it will look at the relevant documents that we have in here, and it will start to determine what things or what it talks about. And then you can ask it, you know, can a pension commencement be a special rule of the fund? Right, and it will then again go to the relevant guide and rules, and it will provide the answer to you. Yes, a pension can be a special rule of the fund. So we will be adding to this the references within the deed. So you'll be able to go, you know, this is rule 25.1, or it's on page 39, or whatever the number is that is relevant to that. Again, giving you more information that you can go and lean in on to help understand what needs to happen. And another one here, just to finish off, you know, how is voting structured within this deed? So again, you want to ask and understand how voting rights work. That one didn't work. It's voting. I'm trying to think of the right question. So you can see here, it then sets out the parameters in respect to how voting works in here. So again, this is going to be looking at it specific to the document. So if we have a situation here whereby We've got our deed, and then with individual trustees, we might be looking at voting, but we have our constitution. So we're looking at voting in a very different lens. So therefore, we'd be asking those questions in respect to the constitution to help us understand what's going on there as well. So that's pretty exciting from our side of things to be able to now give you the tools to be able to look at and manage and ask questions of the bot in respect to the ordering of documents and using the AI technology that is now available to us. So let's keep moving, and the next one that is close to fruition is our automated deed update service. So this is where you'll be able to manage the history of your funds deeds and documents and automatically update that deed via the automated service on the Smarter SMSF platform. So this will allow you to import all the relevant clients that you want, whether you want to add them manually, import them via your software integration, bulk import if via, again, CSV XML file. And then once you've got them on, you'll need a document subscription to then activate that fund. And that fund will then deduct the subscription, will deduct it from the counter attached to that subscription. And on the anniversary that it is activated, it will then deduct from the counter each and every time. But what it's then doing is once you have activated the service, you will then create what we call a non-lapsing prospective resolution, where the trustees have in essence adopted the service, and therefore whenever Smarter SMSF makes a deed update change, then the fund will have those rules automatically replaced. And that's because of that non-lapsing prospective resolution. And then as soon as they revoke that, then in essence that it's that point in time that that service would naturally stop. So we've built this in since about 2019 version. So that was the first thing that we did, is built it in, and then it's been around building the product to sit behind it. Any of the deed changes, like we said, will be automatically updated. So Smarter SMSF takes responsibility for the rules and the updating, and then you have the ability to not only have that deed updated, but view the history and any changes that have happened thereafter. You also have the ability to give different people different levels of access. So staff internally, you can also give it to external parties. It might be the trustee themselves. It could also be that you want to share information with a solicitor who is undertaking the the estate planning affairs of that individual, and they need to get a copy of the last deed and so forth. Again, you can provide the permissions around that. And we see this as being much more than just the deed. We already have, as part of this, our constitution as well. So you can see in here, this is our deed service. We've just got the listing of the different funds here. You can see here the ability to add a fund manually. You also have the ability to import those funds. So again, it's a byproduct of the connection with your relevant software or another import, if that's what you want to do. You can then choose, and you have, yes, there is a limitation of how many you can do at once. So if you're adding 50 or 100 in, then the suggestion would naturally be that you are using the CSV import, where you can drag that data out of your SMSF software. And we've got a process in terms of that import to enable you to do that quite simply. We've got that template that you can download there and then send all that information up. The other thing that I just wanted to show you in here, we'll go down to our Phoebe fund. You can see this one is active. We've dragged that information in, and we go into our history, and you can see here we've got the status. So this, once it's imported, is toggled off. So if I just go to an existing fund, if I go maybe to the citizen one here, and we go view history, so we might have imported that in, so it's inactive currently, we would toggle that to on. That will take an amount off. It'll take one of the documents off the counter, and then you will then go and do that prospective resolution, as I said. So I'm going to go back here to our Phoebe fund being active to show you that it's been toggled on. We then generate the resolution. So here we just simply click generate. We don't need to go and complete the form. We've done that automatically. We can see as part of this process, we have incorporated in the trustee details. That information's come in. The member details have come in as well. You have the ability to edit the functionality within there. And then you can see in here, we have activation details, and then we have our deed history. And you can also do the same in respect to your constitution history as well. So we are very big advocates when you're doing deed upgrades, making sure that the constitution is matching based upon the situation in this fund. But what you can see here is it allows you to add the history in. If you have an external link, you can link. Otherwise, you can upload the document into here as well. But any time that we make a change, and you can see I've got the admin here, where we upload that master deed in here, then, and we will provide to you, and I might just go in to show you some of that process, but in essence, we are putting in the relevant information into here and creating a log so that you know what the upgrade is that has actually occurred. So you'll be able to hover over here and see the relevant updates that have occurred. And then naturally we have our change log within our knowledge base that explains that as well. So this is very different to what you might see in the marketplace. We know that we have some of our competitors might have this deed service, but there's this, what I call one mothership deed that sits there and you don't really know how to get access to it, because the short answer is it doesn't get added anywhere for you to do so. Any time that we add a master in here, it in essence creates a line item under the history of this particular fund. That is a key difference. So you will always have a document chain here that you can see in respect to the deeds that you are holding. Okay, you've got your trustee details, you've got your member details, and this is important, and you can change and edit and delete, as I said there. This is important because what we are endeavoring to do on this site, this part of our service, is it's going to go much beyond deeds and constitutions. We want this to be a time-stamped repository, in essence, for trustee or fund-related documents, but then even member-related documents. We know that there is a process and a thread that needs to occur, not only in respect to deeds, but in respect to death benefit nominations, in respect to investment strategies, in respect to pensions, so on and so forth. And this is where we are looking to head with this, moving from what I call a document-centric platform, where you are simply going in and ordering documents, to becoming a fund-centric platform that enables you to look at the event that needs to occur in this fund that is next, i.e. the person is going to start a pension, etc., etc. So we are, as I said, very close. As you can see here, that resolution has now been generated. You can simply download that from there, and then you've got your resolution to adopt the service that the clients would need to sign, etc., etc. So yeah, that we will provide, again, some more information. If that is of interest, you can drop us a note and we can have a bit of a chat to you about giving us some initial feedback as we look to launch this in the not too distant future as well. So back to the slides again. I know we're jumping backwards and forwards, but as I said, we are initially going to release that in our deeds and constitutions only, but we expect to roll out more and more documents into it to make it a true fund-centric approach. So the other one here, and in the work that we've been doing with Chris Hill and the Hill legal team, is we also now have rolled out on the new documents platform the Inherit Australia Enduring Powers of Attorney. So from within the Smarter SMSF platform, you can now single sign on across to Inherit Australia to enable for the preparation of enduring powers of attorney across different states. And you can see here, we have listed for you the different states that we currently have available. And I know Chris and his team are still adding to this, and in particular to the SMSF power of attorney. But it is an additional feature that we see as being beneficial to you in the ongoing dialogue and engagement with your SMSF clients. So there are a range of extra features that you can see in here that might that stand out in essence from what you might otherwise get in the marketplace. So you can see, you know, there's customizable powers that are available, the option for multiple attorneys, there's instructions and guides naturally for attorneys, And there's integrations as well on that side of the ledger around APIs with BGL, Xero, Xplan, and Midwinter as well. So this is, again, a fairly straightforward process for you to do. We go into our, I'm just going to close this form and this form. So we go into our, again, this is on our beta site only. We're not making it available within our existing site. So we go down here and you can see these listed, including the SMSF power of attorney as well. So I'm just going to click on this one. And what it will do is it will pass your credentials across to enable this to occur through Inherit Australia. So in this instance, I have an Inherit Australia account. You can see my email address that I have via the Smarter SMSF platform, and then it enables me to effectively log in and go from there. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just do this because I know I already have an account here. But you'll go through and, in essence, set up for that first time. And then once you're in here, we now have this power of attorney. You're automatically at the starting point to enable you to go through and build this SMSF power of attorney document. Okay, so in this instance, there's a process that you need to walk through. If you want to go through and look at the integrations and that sort of stuff, you can go and have a look at and the knowledge base and stuff that Inherit have built. But in essence, it allows you to work simply through a process to enable for that power of attorney to be completed based upon the various states that you can see there. So again, just wanting to let you know that we do have those available now. ACT, New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, WA, SA is coming very shortly. SMSF power of attorney for Victoria, it is unique to the Smarter SMSF deed. I will note that, and we are then rolling that SMSF power of attorney out across those relevant states as well. So again, an additional, an exciting new feature that we've added onto this new Smarter SMSF platform as well. So let's keep moving. It has been a very busy time. The next bit is just in terms of some updates to our documents and the like. We have now finalised our SMSF deed of variation with the replacement set of rules for QROPS. So that has just recently been added online. Again, as part of any deed upgrade, you can ask whether the deed upgrade is to satisfy the requirements for His Majesty's revenue. So in that respect, then you would simply click yes, and then based upon the fact that you've picked it for QROPS or ROPS, it will then in essence produce the relevant deed of variation and then replacement rules to comply with the requirements of His Majesty's Revenue Service there. I did mention earlier on, we are working on a new death benefit income stream form. So one of the things that we did need to do is, as part of the upgrade to our new pension commencement form, we needed to pull out that death benefit income stream form. So we are literally building that out at the moment. So I'll just go, if I go back to here and we go death benefit income stream, order, I think that's document. So we ordinarily build in here and then the team will migrate order. Maybe I need the. We ordinarily build in here and then the guys will upload this information across to the new platform. But the idea here being that we have built this out specifically to deal with a pension that is being started. So this is very different naturally to the continuation of a pension with a reversionary. So in here, we expect to have this form probably available within the next week or so. It will be available to use. We might then need a little bit more time on the integration side of things. But just again, this will be specific for death benefit pensions only. And because we've added some specific features in there naturally to cover that. So our TRISs and account-based pensions will stand out separately in our pension commencement document that you can see here. and then we will effectively be decommissioning our previous pension commencement form that we haven't really done any major updates to since 1 July 2022. Okay, so the pension commencement that we see on here, that in essence we're telling people, if you go into it over here, we've even got notices and stuff on the top here, just to make sure that you're ending up in the right spot going forward, because we want you actively using this pension commencement form with the unknown balance now, because of the additional features and functionality that we naturally have in that form as well. So you can see there'll be a pop-up on here that, here, use our new commencement form, and it takes you across to that particular document. So let's jump back again here. The other thing that we've also added recently is, with the introduction of our Smarter Legal Review service, all the disclaimers that we have within our Smarter SMSF legal documents are being updated as well. So there are a range of these that are sort of being added as we go at the moment. So you will see tweaks to that. We'll update and reference the versions and so forth as well as a result of that, but just be aware that that's the case. I did mention earlier on as well that the add or remove member documents, we're splitting into multiple, so into two separate forms, one to add. We're going to then be adding minors, which don't think we'd see it that often, but it's funny that we see it more than we expect. And then in the removal, we're then going to include a number of other elements into that process: death, disqualification, family law, and the like. We're also in the process of updating our pension rollback. So not only rolling back because they want to, but rolling back because they have to, where they may have failed the minimum pension. And one that we've seen recently more and more with LRBAs are getting to a completion stage where the loan maybe is being paid out. There's actually no requirement to vest that bare trust deed, because in essence there's no asset there and there's no other obligations that sit within that trust. But we are also getting some requests about, well, as a piece of audit evidence, it'd be great if we could have something that would support that. So we are going to build out a bare trust vesting deed that would just recognise that deed, that bare trust has in essence ceased as a result of that asset being moved once the loan is repaid. Very different to the sale of that asset. We're not going to do it there, but simply where we're moving that asset across with the loan having been repaid. And again, there's no mandated requirement to have to move that asset across. So again, it's only going to be where that arrangement actually collapses and the asset moves into the SMSF. Just wanted to flag at the bottom, we've still got a couple of things that we're sort of got throwing around in the pot at the moment. Still waiting on some final positions naturally around Div 296, seeing a number of rulings come out around member and death benefits and the treatment. It's becoming fairly consistent in terms of the responses from the ATO in that regard. So again, just things that we're constantly monitoring here, and then we will update you through these sort of processes as to if a change is going to occur and why a change may need to occur as well. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on here, of course, is the fact that we have introduced our Smarter Legal Review. So this is a new service that is now available in conjunction with Hill Legal. And it has been introduced into a number of our legal documents, deed updates, changes of trustees, BDNs, and so forth. So the idea is that we're adding this into the relevant form to allow you to choose whether you want to obtain legal review in respect to that document. Okay, so this is where we're giving you that option to say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. We're only adding it into our docs.smarter SMSF platform as well. And then as part of the membership, if you're a subscription holder, you will obviously get the document as part of your subscription, but the legal review that you request, you would need to then naturally pay that as you go. When you complete this or submit the particular order and request legal review, then the order will effectively go on hold. And what then happens is that order then goes and is submitted to us, and then as a byproduct of that goes on and is submitted to Hill Legal for that legal review to occur. And that legal review, once it has occurred, in essence, then allows you to go and generate the particular order itself. Okay, so there is a bit of a process in here, and I'll explain this process in a little bit more detail in a second. We did also recently run a Smarter Legal Review webinar. It is up and available on our website. So I'm just going to jump onto the website here to share with you quickly. So on the smartersmsf.com/legal review, we do now have this particular page, explains the table as I'm about to go through here as well. And you can see the webinar that is on here that you can watch that Chris and I did a bit over a week or so ago. So I am going to really fast track a lot of what Chris and I spoke about, but really more to the point, I want to share with you the process of what needs to occur and how this works. So as I said, you can simply still continue to enter the data and submit and generate the document. There's no problems with continuing to do that if you wish to. Then we do, however, have different levels of review that you can undertake. So in the context of something like a deed upgrade, you can choose either level 1, level 2, or in essence, level 4. And I'll come back to level 3 in a second because that recognizes that there is already a problem and we need to complete a rectification. Okay, now there are some parameters as to whether it is level 1 or 2 or in essence 4, and you can see the fixed costs attached to that. So if you're a member and you're looking to order this document, you can request legal review. And then based upon those parameters, you'll choose the different type of review. You'll then upload those documents. You'll give us any additional information and then review and submit that. And again, if I jump back into the platform here, what you'll see is when we go to our document and our deed upgrade form, as I showed you earlier on, we then have a section now introduced into this form that talks about legal review. So do you require legal review, yes or no? If it's a no, like I said, you go through and basically complete it. You'll then say here, am I requesting legal review? You'll choose the level of legal review that you want. So if it is either level 1 or level 2, you will pay for that as part of the completion of the order. Now, if you are a member, you'll naturally only have to pay the legal review fee. The document doesn't count. If you are ordering on a pay-as-you-go basis, then you need to pay for the document itself and the legal review. So we've built all the conditions around that. You will be required as well to upload documents. So you can see in here, we have the ability to upload about 50 meg of documents into here. If the files that you have are more than 50 meg in total, then we just suggest that you please log a support ticket and attach the relevant files, and obviously so we can link it there as well. We ask whether there's any additional information that might help us complete this task, and then there's some acknowledgements by you in respect to the fact that you're happy for us to pass this on to Hill Legal, and you acknowledge that the legal work is being undertaken by Hill Legal, not by Smarter SMSF. So there's a fairly robust process that happens at the front end, streamlined as well for you, most importantly. And then once we get from that stage of submitting that particular order, then we get to the point whereby we are looking at the back end of the process, which you don't naturally see, but wanted to help you to understand it. So the first is this information post-submission will get lodged with Hill Legal, and the lawyers at Hill Legal will review the information that has been submitted by you, i.e., let's make sure that the scope that has been determined is the correct scope. And that'll happen within about 48 hours, and it'll either get confirmed that that's correct, or if it's not, Hill Legal will be in contact with you, having produced that, to rescope and the reasons why that would need to be rescoped. Okay, based upon the fact that it's agreed to in terms of that it's correctly scoped or that it's been rescoped and agreed to, then Hill Legal, within the required time frame, will prepare that legal sign-off letter that will then allow you to go back into the Smarter SMSF platform. Under the completed orders, you will be able to then generate that document. Okay, so there will be an acknowledgement that legal review has occurred, And then in essence, once you've acknowledged that that has occurred, it will then allow you to access the document via the completed orders. We were going to do it via a saved orders area. We've updated that process now, and you will see within the navigation on the Smarter SMSF platform an amber rather than the purple. So in the completed orders area on the site, if we go to completed here, what we are going to do, and this is currently in design by our team and the developers working on it, this is going to become an amber color, and it's going to say legal review on it. And then from within here, you'll be able to choose generate my document. A big pop-up will come up to say that you acknowledge that the legal review has occurred. And once that has occurred, this will then naturally allow you to go and download that particular document as well. And we're timestamping, obviously, each and every part of that process along the way, both for our records and for Hill Legal. No, wrong one, sorry. There. So that covers the ordering process there. The other side is our deed of rectification. So this is level 3, where we know there is already a problem. Doesn't need to be identified by Hill Legal. We know that there's a missing trustee, an incorrect name, an incorrect date, something's not dated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what we have now done is we have built within the Smarter SMSF platform the ability for you to prepare the deed of rectification form. So you can tell us the information that you need, or the information that we need, I should say, to enable for this rectification to be prepared by Hill Legal. So you can see in here, it asks the fund name, it asks for the rectification, what type of document is it? Well, it's a rectification around a variation. What type of error is it? Is it an error with a name, a typographical sort of error? So it's a name error. How many people have naming errors? What's the incorrect one? What's the correct one? What's their role? Okay, what additional information? Upload the information that we spoke about, and then we need to get the detail about the fund and about the relevant parties to this transaction so that that can be incorporated into the rectification as well. So this covers what we see as fairly simple and straightforward rectifications that need to occur based upon typographical, based upon missing information, based upon a process error. So a missing party or a party has been incorrectly added. And then the incorrect party can be put into there. And again, that information will enable Hill Legal to complete that particular task. And I go back to here, what we've done is for those simple rectifications, we have a flat fee to ensure that that has been fixed. And once it's fixed, well, then you can go on and do the next set of documents that you need. So level 1, 2, and 3, that fee is captured within the Smarter SMSF platform. Where it's bespoke, so obviously there is more work to be done, then that will be billed by Hill Legal themselves. We might have a situation whereby you may have put a scoping of level 1. Hill Legal have then determined for some reason that it's not level 1, and maybe there is an issue and it moves to bespoke, and the work that needs to be done might cost $800 plus GST as an example. Well, then what will happen is they will bill you for the difference in respect to that, and Smarter SMSF and Hill Legal will deal with the initial payment that has been made there as well. So let's kind of take this back to the slides and start to think about wrapping this up shortly as well. So that really gives you the entire process. You'll get that confirmation around the legal review occurring and get communicated by both us, Smarter SMSF initially, and then via Hill Legal, who is the one that's naturally producing that legal work, and then allowing you, in essence, to go back and complete that process. So that covers all of our document stuff. The other part that I wanted to touch on today is naturally around our education. So we have updated our navigation. I think we touched on that last time. We have our foundations course that is now available. We've got students naturally going through that new foundations course, 6 modules, 10 hours of learning. Our essentials course has also been updated, as we touched on previously. And both of our courses now have complimentary periods of membership with the SMSF Association. That is a huge carrot to the work that's been done by Tim in particular, and the discussions that we've had with the association, that the affiliate membership with the SMSF Association is linked to our foundations course for a period of up to 12 months. And the associate membership, a complimentary period of up to 12 months, is linked to the essentials course as well. So you can find out more about those on our site. The other part, again, going back to our Smarter AI, is that we have also introduced this into our course-based content. This is the first iteration. The next iteration is obviously going to be into other parts of our training, whether it's the masterclasses and our webinars, and then potentially into our support products that I'll be touching on in just a minute. But the idea here is that this will enable you to go into the course. If this is on our educations part of the platform that I've just gone into here, and under the course content, if I just go into our essentials course here, what you'll be able to see is within the relevant modules, and I might just go into taxation as an example. We again have in here, in addition to the resources and the ability to work through the content that we have here in the particular topic, we now have our Ask AI. And the same scenario applies here where we are linking this specifically to the module. So if I want to ask here, can you explain to me how maybe disregarded small fund assets works, given that it's a tax module, and it will then naturally look to the materials in here to explain the relevant content, in this instance, disregarded small fund assets. So anything that we're looking at in here around taxation and member benefits, it is going to be covering off on that information in here. So what is Division 296 tax? Given that we did do updates to December, this should pick up the fact that it's an imposition on superannuation benefits exceeding $3 million, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the idea here is it's another way in which individuals or students can ensure they get maximum value out of the education. So we see this for staff coming on board. You really want to accelerate them into their education to be able to do the work on a day-to-day basis. Not only can you equip them with the tools here to watch the work that Tim and I have done in these courses. They might be audio, they might be visual, they might be written, but the fact that we can now add the blend in of actually asking questions, rather than them coming questions asking you, they can ask questions of the AI in the first instance, and you're becoming a true mentor rather than the actual facilitator of their education, which is crucial given the time that it takes to bring students up on board as well. All right, so let's wrap this up with just the last couple of things here. So yeah, so the AI is currently in our course material, used there to answer questions, as I said. We'll be expanding this out, and part of it will in essence come into what we're going to be shortly releasing around our technical support. So next month, we're going to be rolling out a technical support service. We've been sort of toying with this for some period of time. We've come up with a product structure that in essence, you can choose the level of question or the number of questions you want to ask. We're controlling that on our end. We're linking it to our existing ticketing support service. We're creating a new channel in essence to be able to do that. You'll be able to track it through the platform, through the support area. So when you go into the Smarter SMSF platform, you will see an area called support. So you'll be able to actually access that from within the support area. So you'll be able to log questions ordinarily, but you'll also be able to do that from this support area. And once that question has been asked, you'll be able to track the answers and the responses as well. We're going to then be tracking the actual ones that you've been answering, and we'll keep you up to date with how many you've got left, and you'll have that information in essence available within the actual platform itself. So what we're looking to do here is we're going to be expanding out in our admin area, admin console, orders console, subscription console, whatever you want to call it. So this is in respect to the documents. We'll add an area in here in respect to the support product, and it will just use the counters as we have here to ensure that you can actually track and see what's going on in that regard as well. So again, expect to see a little bit more come out on that support side of things within the next month as we look to roll out what is in essence not an annual subscription or a monthly subscription like we have, but simply purchase the number of tickets, pay for those, and then in essence, we will use that as a counter. They don't expire. In essence, you got those until such a time that they're ultimately used. And as I said, we'll track that ordinarily as we do with all the other sort of documents, counters and stuff that we have as well. So that's it. There has been quite a bit, as you can see, that's been going on with the team, let alone the fact that we have been around Australia doing our SMSF days over the period of March as well. So big thank you to everyone that supported those events. We had record numbers over 180. We've got plenty coming up, including our upcoming SMSF tax planning session. So members, you will get an email about that at the probably early next week. But we do have a number of upcoming sessions available. We encourage you to join us, whether it's the federal budget, the masterclass in June, things about the deed, plenty going on with Smarter SMSF. And thank you once again for joining us for our April event. And we look forward to providing you with more information in our update with the next one scheduled for July. Thank you once again. If you've got any other questions, please feel free to fire them at us now. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Bye for now.